Alright, YouTube. I was supposed to compare the 12-inch DC XL in that box, which is a 6th order bandpass, to these four in a just standard ported box that I built. Those are four Kicker Solo Barracks S10C. I was supposed to do a comparison and video everything. Well, sorry, I had an injury and it just didn't happen the way I wanted to, but I did compare them. I just didn't get the footage of it. So, in short, those are louder all the way around. They not only play down into the low 30s and up, I don't know, 50s, 60s, you know, wherever the rock stuff is really hitting, and they just knock it out of the park. That, on the other hand, it's really, really good output in the lows, but the highs, it didn't compare to those. Now, that could be cone area versus cone area. I don't know. It could be the tune versus the tune, but that's 6th order bandpass. That should, in theory, be just as good, if not better than that. But, again, you know, real world testing, this is what happened. So, sorry, I did not get that done, but I have finally, I'm healing. Still on weight restrictions and stuff like that, but I had this old box laying around that I built for my wife to go in her old Durango. It is for a Rockford Fosgate Power HX2. Minimum spec, large port, painted it pink, even have LEDs still in it. There's the wire to hook it up. You know, something nice, something pretty for her. But today, I'm going to throw in this 12-inch Sony Explode. This Kicker Comp, bottom of the barrel. And then a Digital Designs 2512. Now, the Kicker Comp and the Sony Explode over there will get the same amount of power. We're saying somewhere around 4 to 450 watts. RMS is what the amp calls for. True wattage, I don't know. But, and then this will be ran at 2 ohm mono, because obviously it's a dual voice coil. I just want to see how they perform in this car. Compare one to the other to the other. And obviously, my expectations are that Digital Designs is going to blow both of these out of the water, but you never know. They all can take a relatively same size box. This is 1.75 cubic feet before the displacement of that Rockford. I don't know what the displacement of is, so it'll slightly vary between each sub, you know, the technical, precise tune, but overall it's going to be all around 40 hertz, give or take. So I'm just going to throw this together, compare them one by one, and see how they sound. Fuck it, I got nothing better to do. But these are going to go back in the car. That's staying out. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I just had to fix this one. As you can see, it's on my TikTok video. I didn't put it on YouTube. I decided to hook these up to the 2500 watt amp just for shits and giggles, and that one went, see ya. So it turns out that I just tore the spider, so I just replaced that. I had to lengthen my tinsel a little bit to repair that because it actually broke off, but yeah. So let's get to it. Well, already this has become an unfair fight. I can't even compare this piece of shit to the Kicker Comp, because as soon as I put this about half volume, it starts rattling like crazy. Apparently the coil's messed up in it, and I did not know. And here I was trying to sell it for a while, but I'll let you hear what I mean. Aside from the rattling coil, it actually is pretty loud. I mean, even just, you know, sub up, port up, which actually kind of surprised me. I figured I'd have to lay it down for it to get decent output, but no, it's actually pretty loud. But I could hear the rattling even sitting up front, so abort, toss this one, try the other one. Alright, how about round 2? Try this again. Okay, so Kicker Comp in that box. This is a regular song. It's not a rebased anything, blah, blah, blah. I can't go full tilt. It does start to bottom out, so it can't quite handle all the power. But to hear it, to listen to it, it's actually pretty impressive for what the subwoofer is. And that's in a homemade subwoofer box that I personally built. So I know the box is good quality. That's also with the car not running. It is not up to the 14.4 volts. And I mean, yeah, it doesn't rattle the trunk and sound, oh my god, obnoxious on the outside, but inside the car, even with the front windows down, it's actually not bad at all. I highly recommend, if there's anybody watching this who wants to get these cheap kicker comps, and I've done a video on them before. I did 3 of them in the back of a Dodge Caliber with same specs, minimum spec for the subwoofer, 3 of them with a 500 watt amp. They sound phenomenal. If you can get a homemade box that is adequate to them, they will actually perform really well. Now, they're not going to have the motor force that is something like my DC down here will have, or what I imagine that Digital Designs will have, but for what it is, if done correctly, let the haters hate, because they do get actually really loud. That's one thing I was taught when I got into the car audio game, and I didn't listen right away, but once I learned how to build my own enclosure, the enclosure makes everything. That is the key. So, alright, yeah, let's get this out. Let's get the Digital Designs in. Round 3 about to begin. Well, the Digital Designs is definitely much louder. I will give it that. Seems to be shaking the car a bit more too with that. Overall, the kicker comp versus that, yes, it's definitely louder, but not, I wouldn't say not as much as you would expect, to be quite honest. Now, this is with the car off. So, I mean, this is running 12 volt. This isn't, 14.4 volts, which it ain't going to make a huge difference. But still, yeah. I'm definitely going to be doing some more testing. As a matter of fact, if you guys are aware of the guy, Car Audio Guy, or what is it? DIY Car Audio Guy. He just made a video about whether you should make your box out of MDF, such as this, or if you use plywood, such as this. This is birch. Now, some people are saying that it could be pine with Baltic birch on the outside layer, what have you. It could be, I don't know. This here should be the same thing, but again, supposedly there's a difference in the sound, or at least there's supposed to be. So I actually made a comment on one of his videos in reference to this. If he doesn't jump on it, I am, because I have nothing but free time right now. I can spend the extra couple dollars to do a comparison of, say, enclosure A versus enclosure B, but of the same subwoofers, not different stuff. Because, as a matter of fact, I have this particular subwoofer. Right here is a perfect MDF box. I can replicate it by making it out of plywood. Or, right here, I have a 15-inch Rockford Fosgate that I rebuilt. It's one of the Punch HX2s. 4-inch port, 2.5 cubic feet. I used it solely for testing. I got multiple 15-inch subwoofers, and this is a good box for me to test them out and make sure everything's working properly. Get an idea of how loud it is. I can make one of those out of MDF. Or, like I said, I can make something for that. Or I could go right to my 410s that I love so much, pull them out of this, make an MDF box, put them in that, compare the two of those. I don't know how big of a difference there would be, but it's worth looking into, because it's been a big debate in the car audio world for quite some time now, and I think to do real world testing, now granted I don't have a term lab or anything like that to actually see the decibels, but I can see the output that it puts upon my car, you know, as reference, hey, if this is something you guys want me to do or you're interested in seeing, by all means, hit that like button, subscribe, let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to actually do this. Because like I said, I got nothing but time, and I'm not going back to work for at least another month and a half. So I can make this all happen. I can do it within the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, hell. Let me know what you guys want me to compare. Do you want me to compare 12 versus 12, MDF versus the plywood? Or do you want me to do the 410s and the plywood versus MDF enclosure? Or maybe that 15 up there? Hey, I mean, I got all kinds of shit laying around. I still got to get my wife's system put together. I'm going to be putting a completely different box in this here soon. Which, well, the cat's out of the bag on that one now. Anyway, so yeah, let me know. I'm all for it.